Were you an athlete, school teacher, or maybe worked in a corporate world? Our careers, they tend to be the way that we identify ourselves. Now, what happens when that identity is taken from you? We found ours in real estate. Now, let us help you find yours on a Free Agent Real Estate Investing Podcast, starting now.
Bro, such a good intro. I'm so glad I found out how to do that.
Oh, shit. What's up, guys?
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Free Agent Real Estate Investing Podcast. I'm your host, Stratton Brown.
And I'm your host, Michael Butler. Man, thank you guys for tuning in with us.
Man, thank you so much. You guys have no idea how much hard work got put into that little intro right there.
that quick little 30 seconds, huh?
I went on, what's it called? Because I have a VA going and edit all of our podcasts and attach those to both of them. And it gets repetitive when you're doing it all the time. And then I went on another podcast on StreamYard and they was like, oh no, this is how we do it. And it's already there and it saves you so much back end time. So if you guys do have a podcast and you do it on StreamYard or you do anything, just play it. And that way you don't have to have someone go cut it. Super cool.
Yeah, man. You guys have no idea how long we've had that too. Man, we've had that for a while.
But as you guys are coming in, please comment where you're from, where you're watching, what issues you're having. Today is going to be a lot more of a free-for-all. I really don't think the biggest thing, I didn't even have a massive topic to talk about this week besides, I'd say fucking money management and saving more money so you don't put yourself in these adverse situations when you're overly invested that nobody talks about. For some reason, every entrepreneur is always just like filthy rich as soon as they start.
For some reason, right? No one loses a lot of money. No one ever goes back to where they started, broke, right?
Nobody has a balloon coming up that they're thinking about, like seriously thinking about. Nobody had, right? Like those are things, right? To where now I will empty out my bank account again. And then after that, I will stack up until, okay, like here's our threshold. We're going to have this much amount of money in our account at all times, no matter what. Yeah. And then after that, that's our zero. Like that zero's there. And then after that, I use that to invest in the things. I'm tired of being so aggressive.
Well, remember I told you in the beginning, I was like, man, dude, you're so aggressive. I mean, it was almost admirable, right? I was like, I could never add that much stress onto myself, man.
Oh my God.
But it happens, bro. Like you start, like, I mean, I got a few, some payments coming up and stuff like that. And so, or expenses, I should say. And so we'll be closing a nice size deal, but I mean, it's not even exciting at that point because it's just like, oh. It's almost like when you were back in middle class America and you got paid and you was excited about it, but at the same time you knew your bills was taking it all.
Dude, bro,
I started having flashbacks and shit.
Bro, it's so true though. Like you still got bills to pay because like sometimes again you get overly aggressive and then you're sitting here like, oh wow, we got 3 deals in the pipeline. And then I'm sitting here like, oh, wow, those 3 deals in the pipeline are covering this that we just did, this that we just did, this.
I ain't got shit. I ain't got shit. You come up with 3 deals, bro, and you broke. Like, that's. But something is to be said for that because there was a point where I was even just like, okay, now I done closed all these deals, right? And so it's like, where's the rest of them, right? And I was kind of going through some other stuff. But what happened is I go ahead and, start focusing a little bit more on the marketing and follow up and stuff like that. And literally, we probably locked up like 2 of them in like a day. But that's just once you know how to do this business, you'll find a way to get deals.
I mean, I panic when I have too much money in my account. I think it's like a problem that I have.
You said you panic?
I panic when I have too much money in my account because I know what to do with it, right? I'm not at a point to where, I'm just making money hand over fist. I have no idea what to do with all my money. I know exactly. I know exactly where I want all of my money to go. Okay, when we get this amount, okay, we'll invest into that. When we get this amount, we'll invest into that. So like it's already planned out. Mm-hmm. Now that's how it is for me, at least. To where And that's why I think I'm so aggressive, because I made the decision like 6 months ago. And so like
that
I'm
you were
already
just
committed.
going to spend all your money?
No,
Oh,
to
you
where,
made the decision on where you were going to spend that money
yeah,
6
I already
months before
made.
you even got it.
I was like, okay, we're gonna go get this. This is the move we're making. And
Yeah.
so like I've already made that decision in my mind, to where that's why I'm so aggressive. But it's not even me being aggressive. It's just me being, I don't know. I'm just like, okay,
Well,
this is the plan. Here we go.
but
No
you
matter
can
what, and
also
like
say
I gotta
that
follow through.
you can also say that's like betting on yourself, right? So like, I was listening to Steve Chang's podcast or whatever, number one podcast for real estate investing, right?
Besides this one.
Besides this one, right? And so they were talking about how someone on the show was talking about syndication and stuff like that, and how he's like, you give me $100,000 basically, and he was like, he'd pretty much blow some shit up, right? He'd be able to create at least $30,000-$40,000 of passive income a month.
Oh, without a doubt.
Just by, what I'm saying? And so just the thought of like, taking $100,000 from someone, or loaning or borrowing $100,000 from someone, yes, you can go make that money back, but the stress of just the thought of $100,000, up front could potentially, when there's nothing, if you're starting from the bottom and you're starting your business all over again, and someone's like, hey, I have no problem loaning you $100,000. You got 12 months and I want my shit in December, right? We're in January. What are you able to, what do you do with that?
Could I do something right now, or is this like just starting over again?
You're starting over again, like not growing
Just
what
me.
you already have. If you
Just me.
if you went broke and it was just you, no call magicians, no nothing, just you.
Do I know what I know now? That's what I'm asking.
For sure, you know what you know now, 100%.
I'd probably put money in e-commerce, and then I'd wholesale it.
You'd wholesale it. So when you
I would wholesale it or flip it. I'd put it in an Amazon store, a Walmart store. I know I'd get decent returns off of that. And then from there, I would use, let's say I have another 30 grand and I can be really aggressive wholesaling.
Mm-hmm.
I'd do that.
Okay.
Or I mean, that's hard.
It's tough, right? Because you got 12 months and then that note is due. If you guys are listening, go ahead and type in what you would do if you were a brand new investor. Someone loaned you $100,000 and you had to pay it back in 12 months. How would you find a way to be able to generate enough income to be able to pay that debt back at the end of the year?
Wholesaling is what I know how to do, but I was talking to Michael Zuber and Kalani about this. Mm-hmm. I refuse to put myself in a year balloon situation.
Okay.
I refuse to do it.
Explain that for those who don't understand.
So a balloon on your mortgage is like, so let's say I have a 30-year mortgage, but I have a 1-year balloon. That means that entire 30 years mortgage interest and everything is due after a year. So
how's it a 30-year mortgage?
The balloon is there. So like
okay.
The balloon, so it's a 30-year mortgage with a 1-year balloon. So it's amortized over 30 years.
Okay.
And we were looking at some storage, and we got some advice to get some short-term money at like 12% and buy the whole thing, and then have a 2-year balloon on it. And I was like, fuck no. Like, I didn't want anything. And he was like, this is what I would do. And for number one, I didn't see us being able to drive the value up, add that equity to the property, right? That much, that fast to be able to. What was the purchase price? What were we at? It was like a 600,000 or something.
So the 600,000 would have been pretty much due in 2 years.
Yeah, well, 600,000 plus, because we'd have to rehab some stuff, right? So I'd have to go in there, I'd have to burr this and feel confident that I was buying this bitch so deep that I could get out of it really within a year. Because let's be honest now, like within a year, you'll know if you'll be able to balloon out of that 2-year balloon.
Yeah.
Right. Like I'll be there.
If you be enough to, if you would be able to add enough value to the property to be able to refinance it and pay off.
Exactly. I truly think that, right? Because I know at a year, I'm like, fuck, bro. It's either I'm going, fuck, all right, I got to figure out something else, or yeah, it's going to be fine. Like if you want to call it now, it's good.
So what happens if they call it due? Obviously, you can get foreclosed on.
Foreclosed on.
Okay. And so you didn't believe that in 2 years you'd be able to add enough value to it to be able to pay off the note?
So there's two things. I have, okay, am I able to, right? Well, Aaron and Cletus have had to write some big fucking checks to some people off of some losses. And like, that's what I want to avoid.
Yeah.
Right.
But they've also grown, been able to grow because of not some of those losses, but taking that risk that a lot of people probably wouldn't take.
Yeah.
Most of their flips are pretty goddamn successful if you think about it. You know what I mean? Yeah. So what losses? I don't think they're taking losses on their flips. I ain't seen one of them hoes yet that went under asking price. You know what I mean? So,
well, we'll bring them on and let them talk about it. What was I saying?
Adding value to the property to be able to pay off that note.
Oh, the market. I don't know if the market's going to be there in 2 years, right? To where I'm going into a new asset class that I don't know. Even though self-storage is still real estate, it's not what I know with real estate. Because I for sure wouldn't do it with a house to where I wouldn't know if I'd be able to like drive the value up like that fast.
Yeah, but does it change that much in that asset class just because people
your lease up period's longer? Your lease up period is longer, right? So if my plan is to go in there and raise the rents and kick people out and then re-rent that bitch, like you're getting it was like 182 units.
Okay.
And they had 30% of the people weren't paying, and then the rest of the rents were low. And so I'd have to go in, raise all of those other rents, kick out all those the 30%, and you lease up 2 to 4 a month of those units, right? So it has to, if something doesn't go according to plan, that sucks.
Yeah.
Right. And so that's what I'm thinking about. And if the market dips, right, and people are like, oh, you know what, I can't afford my storage unit, blah, blah, blah. That's what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
What
if it does go as planned?
Then we're good.
No, what does the numbers look like if you were able to go in and that plan actually execute that plan?
The upside wasn't good enough for me.
Okay. And
the upside wasn't good enough. But what's it called? Aaron and Cletus do some really cool things with their private lenders when they are going into what's it called? Bigger deals. To where Cletus is like, all right, I'm going to do a really, really big deal. Instead of me having to pay a fat amount of interest, I just give them X amount of money, and I need the money until this thing's done. That way, when 6 months comes up, and that you have a 6-month balloon generally with hard money, where you're going to have to pay some extra points and other stuff.
Yep,
that gets to be a pain. And so he's like, all right, bro, here's $25K. I'm going to use this until it's done, and that way you don't have that back end pressure.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, bro, I got to get this done. I got to get this done. Oh, shit, something fell through, blah, blah, blah. Like all this other stuff. They're like, yeah, I don't want.
Okay. That makes sense. And they're actually doing some pretty dope flips right now. I believe they got like 2 on Van Ness, huh? Yeah, there's one. They're doing a huge one. I remember that they walked through. They're doing a whole bunch of landscaping on. And then they have one that they partnered up with Pritchard on, right? So I believe both of those are on Van Ness, huh?
I'm not quite sure. Aaron, if you're still watching.
Yeah, Aaron, if you're still watching, because I remember the one that you guys took on, and then I know that there's one that you guys are partnering up on. And I can't wait to see both of those, man, because I know they're going to be freaking phenomenal. Blake, he said, with $100,000, I'd partner with an experienced flipper and split the profits.
I mean, my dumb ass, I didn't even think about that. Honestly, I think that's a solid explanation.
Hey, knowing what I know now, with $100,000, I would go do rental arbitrage. I'd go find more properties to rent. I'd go ahead and freaking fully furnish them for like $15,000, right? And typically on an arbitrage deal, we'll make somewhere between $1,500 to $2,000 a month. So you figure, 15, 30,
10 months,
60, 90, 6 of them, right? About 6 of them, maybe even 7, right? Making 2,000.
If you could get to it right away, right? If you knew you had that lined up right away.
Yeah, you would have to, but there's some things, just strategies and stuff like that you would use to go ahead and get more leads when it comes to that. But obviously I would wholesale too, right? But the biggest thing would be going ahead and generating enough cash flow monthly to where I knew that those properties would generate enough throughout those 12 months or, maybe even 6 months to be able to pay back that initial investment.
Exactly. And Aaron's got one on Ashland and Van Ness and Santa Ana and Van Ness.
Yes. See, so I knew they both were on Van Ness. Those are going to be amazing, guys. I can't wait till you guys are done with them.
What's going on, Cletus?
What up, Cletus? How's it going, my man?
What was that? Oh, so that's why, like, we were talking about moving into more cash flow again, so I don't have to fix my shitty habits. I can just make more money.
So I can still blow my money on, investments. You're not blowing it, right?
I'm not
You're
blowing
investing
my money.
in yourself. You're investing in yourself, but so you just don't feel so broke every time you decide to do it.
I mean, investing in myself, investing in other businesses, right? And then I was like, oh man, I'm starting call magicians to pay my bills. And then here I go. And then I have a mentor tell me, like, bro, you aren't pulling a check out of that for the next 2 years.
Yeah. No. No, and that's real, man. And as you know, man, I just finished a kitchen renovation, right? And so it's funny because, I mean, we know a lot of people also who, they probably wouldn't have taken the money and, and did that to their personal home. But the only reason we did it is because, first and foremost, we just had a third child, right? And we were looking at possibly getting a bigger home. But instead of getting a bigger home, we looked at our own home and said, what can we do to this one to generate a little bit more storage, modernize it a little bit, right? And then also with the thought of it, knowing that we would be turning our personal home into an Airbnb, it made sense to make that investment in our kitchen, because typically on those listings, what's the first thing that draws people in? The kitchen, right? So yeah, we just finished that, man. I'm pretty damn juiced about it. It turned out pretty damn well. Doing a lot of little things to it, but it'll turn out to be a good investment for us.
Well, I mean, I thought you were gonna refinance that bitch, and add another 50% on the end of the year income, bud, with all that equity.
So I can kind of walk through the thoughts on here, since this is, again, we talked about this podcast being just, conversations that me and you have. So this is something that we can kind of go through. And so my initial thought with this was, when we were ready to buy a new home, we would take the equity out of this house, use it as a down payment on a new house, and then we'll turn this one into an Airbnb. Based off of that, I believe this home would probably net us about $3,000 a month as an Airbnb. And so this house technically would have paid for my next house, right? So now you're talking about, I'm not using my own money, essentially, right? I'm using money from another stream of income that would be paying off one of those liabilities. And then if you structure it correctly, you're able to lower your debt to income ratio, right? Because you just lease it out to your business, right? And so all those good things, right? Things that you learn. And so we would either do that, or we would stay here for a few more years and use some of the equity that we have to purchase some rentals that we can also use as an Airbnb, since we do wholesale on the side, and maybe figure we can generate enough passive income to where ultimately it doesn't matter when we do decide to buy. We don't have to use it.
What's it called? I was talking about the cash out refi. I think but like, I'd cash out refi now, because I feel like you can do so much with it now.
Yeah, but the thing is, I don't want to pull money out unless I had a specific plan on where I was gonna use it, if that makes sense. Like, I don't want to cash out refi. I don't want to cash out refi and then just have it sitting there, if that makes sense. I want to make sure, like, I've identified a property or whatever it may be. And there's a couple properties that I'm thinking through our wholesaling business. There's a couple properties that I've deemed in good areas that we would be interested in. There's a property in a tower, a duplex. I was just talking to somebody. If I can get that at a good price, and that'd be something that I'd be interested in cash out refining for, to go ahead and purchase, renovate, and we'll do the burn method on that one and turn both of those into an Airbnb.
So my only other thing is, the rates right now are so good, and you don't have this equity forever.
Yeah.
So I was like, so you might as well just take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If the bank's going to give you all that money,
the bank's going to give it to you 100%,
and it's tax free, and we don't think the value is truly there, and we both know the value will be down in 5 years, like you might as well.
So I got time,
advantage.
bro, and that's what I'm saying. I got time. We literally, as you guys know, I bought this home as sub 2, so just refinancing it, changing titles, names on titles and stuff like that. So I do got to go through the seasoning period. So we'll go through the seasoning period within the 6 months, and I'll identify something from that point.
For sure. What's Blake? You both have mentors and interview a lot of successful people. Whose strategy best fits your style? For me, I think buying businesses would be the next one, but I don't know enough to know like to flip a business in a year. I just know it can generate me a lot of cash flow. That's my style out of everybody I've talked to that I like the most. And then obviously self-storage, but that's cash flow wise. But
that's not what he asked you. He said you both have a lot of mentors and people that you've interviewed. Whose strategy best fits yours? So not what strategy, whose strategy?
Mark Evans.
Okay.
Mark Evans' approach to business that's why I like the dude and he's my mentor. Just because of he's a business guy, not a real estate guy. And he's opened my eyes to a lot of other different ways to generate cash flow. Like some of the stuff we were talking about the other day.
Yeah.
Where he was pressing me like, oh no, bro, it's a must. Like it's a must. Like you gotta get that shit going like, right away.
That's tough, man. I don't feel like it's a certain person. I feel like I pick pieces of individuals that I like, you know what I'm saying? So when it comes to Darren Wade is someone that when it comes to like family, doing things the right way, just being a great person, right? You know what I mean? I think morally, ethically, all those things, like I like that's whose strategy in the sense of those things when it comes to he's stepping in, stepping his social media game up.
Yeah,
right?
I see you, Darren.
Huge, man. And so Darren is like someone that I look up to. And then I would say when it comes to the more investing side of it, I really like the way Jason Pritchard does things. I think from just he likes nice things, right? Because I mean, there's a lot that goes out there where you kind of a lot of people like, hey, you gotta live below your means. And I'm not saying go out there and blow money. I mean, in no way am I saying that. But as for enjoying the ride as you're going, I think that's something that I do like. If you can do it the right way. And then just on the investment side, man, he's just someone who just continues to move forward and think big and take actions on things that sometimes might scare you. I think it's admirable to be able to watch him do those things. It continues to push you.
And Kyle, man. I think
for sure, Kyle. See, I can't say I'm still kind of new with Kyle. Like, right, we had this friendship, but then from a investing side of it, right, he is my coach when it comes to the Airbnb side of it. And I feel like there's just so much for me to learn that it's even hard to say, like, if I best fit some of the things that he does for that, because I feel like he's just so great at it that I can't even compare it. You know what I mean?
Bro, Kyle, the way Kyle Mann's business setup is, I think is fucking amazing. I don't want to throw out his personal income, but his personal income is more than the majority.
And he says it on Clubhouse. Does
he?
Hey, he talks about how he went from 0 units or whatever it may be to $20,000 net a month.
30K.
Right? Obviously, it's grown because this is early on in the year, and I know he's added a lot of units since then. But yeah,
and it's when I say the dude at a point in time was golfing 4 times a week, and not having a care in the world and just talking to people and like really living in his unique ability, hanging out with his girlfriend. You know what? I'm gonna go to Austin for a week and a half, and I don't care. I'll be gone, and the business still runs.
Yeah.
To where it's like a perfect lifestyle business. He's not working too hard. He's still working hard, right? But he's
working smarter, bro. It's not that he's not working hard; he's working smarter.
And like, if to have $30,000 come in a month, no matter what you do, like I'm not there as far as cash flow by any means.
You're what?
Like, I'm not there as far as cash flow by any means.
No,
Like column
yeah.
additions will pull us in a significant amount of cash, but
Yeah.
I'm still actively working on that.
Yeah,
thing,
it's still
right?
a job.
Exactly.
Yeah.
To where that is fucking.
Well,
Got to figure it out.
well, and it's crazy because you watch him and like you said, he goes to Austin for a week. You go and do this, and it's just like it's definitely way different than it is wholesaling. And sometimes I have to remind myself about it because it almost feels like it's too easy. And when I say too easy, it's because when you're a wholesaler, when you wholesale, it's that's work, man. It's a grind, it's consistency,
Hustle.
It's hustling, right? And so on the Airbnb side of it, when you're used to doing the hustle and bustle side of it, and then you come to the Airbnb side and you start pulling in some of the money that you pull in, it's like, it almost feels easy, even though it's not. You know what I mean? That's just in comparison to what I was already doing. But when you turn around and you get a freaking $2,000 payout and $1,500 payout, you're like, shit. You know what I mean? It's truly passive, bro. Like it's crazy. And so I think seeing Kyle really helped change what I wanted my future to look like. I've said it from the beginning. I've never wanted to be the person to have the biggest wholesaling business. I've never wanted to be the biggest investor in Fresno or in California. Like I don't care about that. I feel like that's an ego stroke. Like I don't give a shit about that. I want to be able to passively make enough money where I can just do whatever the fuck I want to do and not have to worry about shit.
Oh yeah. Well,
you know what I mean? And so that's what drives me. It drives me to just be able to live a normal life, but buy shit that normal people can't buy.
Without a
I'm
doubt.
okay with that. You get what I'm saying?
Well, and I wanted to be, what's it called? I wanted to be like the number one wholesaler in America. And then I remember just talking to people and like their actual margins and like the amount of work that went into it and then the consistency and the involvedness of it. And I was like, oh man. And like my bubble kind of got popped. You know what I'm saying? Because like I was like, oh bro, I'm building all this to when you really see there's a ceiling. And I talked to other people and they're like, bro, once you get to a certain like level, the what's it called? Return on investment. Not even that.
Well, it is kind of
you're just doing a lot and your return gets littler and littler and littler and littler. To where you can only send out so much mail. You can only do so much that. You can only do so much that. And then once you get to, let's say you're taking in and you're actually making like $2-3 million a month, it's the margins and the scaling issues there. If you just let that thing come in and it's good money coming in there, then you can go and like really start your business, do your passion projects and everything else. By no means are you retired, but at least you can make those other moves.
But think about it. And the people who have these big wholesaling operations, right? Yes, they're generating a lot of money, but then I think the next thing that you need to look at is what they're doing with that money. And typically it's because they know that it's a job. Wholesaling is a job. And you will notice that a lot of them are using that money. They're building some type of passive income, whether it's e-commerce, rental portfolios, coaching courses, like things like that, right? They're using this to scale a whole lot faster in other industries or in other areas so that they no longer have to continue to do this side of it. And then eventually they just scale themselves out of it.
Oh, well, and a lot of people don't realize how much money the gurus make off of being gurus.
Yeah.
Like, boy,
that's a brand. By building a brand, bro.
By building that brand, they make more money.
We talked about Max Maxwell before, and just when I first got started, that's obviously who I seen, and he was on YouTube, and he was another black man on YouTube, so it's just someone I gravitated to. And for at least 3 years, bro, he didn't drop a course. He didn't charge for not much. You know what I'm saying? He just built his brand on giving the right information, being completely transparent, and people would throw money at him to coach him and to, all this stuff. And he just wouldn't take it. But by the time he actually opened up something, I mean, people were just, like floodgates just kind of came in. And so you talk about utilizing YouTube and all this other stuff. I think one day I sat back and just on one of his streams, I was just like thinking like, damn, like what is, this is what his following looks like on Instagram, right? And then you go to a Facebook group, and then he has like
100,000 people.
100,000. It's like one of the top Facebook groups on Facebook. I mean, I would think in real estate investing.
Yeah,
Wholesaling
on
house
real
is
estate
elite.
investing, bro. His is, I think, him and like Alex Youngblood are like the top two.
Wholesaling house is elite.
Elite, and then wholesaling houses full time, or like
Yeah. So then he had one. Sorry, I had a pop up on my thing. And then he had one that you would pay like $10 a month for. And for a while, I kind of was on that too because it was just a little bit more information. And you would get on there, and obviously you got to interact with them a little bit more. And there was probably like 5,000 people on there. I'm lying. There's probably way more than that. You know what I mean? And so then you start calculating that in your mind, like, fuck, $10, and that's coming every month. Like shit. You know what I mean? So you gotta,
he built out, what was it, 3 other companies while he was like just only branding.
What was
but
it, REI Skip?
He had a Skip, the RVM.
Yeah, REO
He
Realm.
built out him and Scott Oots built out Lead Gen Pros.
Yeah.
Right. So they had a couple other different cash flow streams that were coming in, and he wasn't monetizing his brand. He just said, hey, go use this company. That's what I use.
You know what I think the best marketing thing that he did? He's a genius, bro.
Oh, he's a good marketer.
You know, and he did a challenge on getting a deal your first 30 days. And through that 30 days, he walked you through step by step on how to land a deal within the first 4 weeks. And mind you, it was heavily attended. I think I even did it. Matter of fact, I did do it.
Is that with fucking Tony the Closer?
No, it was just him. And like the first step was telling everybody what you do. And then it was downloading Deal Machine, right? Gave you the link.
And that's a 50% rev share. That's a 50% right? Rev share.
But you know what I mean? So it's one of those things, yes, it's an affiliate, but it did help.
It did help.
You know what I mean?
Just like Propstream, bro.
Now you get all just like Propstream. And so you get everybody on there, and they start realizing that this shit's working. And then boom, Propstream. And then, you know what I mean? So it was just like shit. The way he did that was just, it was legit. Man, I think that shit excites me when you see business people, do some of these things.
He might make 7 figures off affiliates a month.
That's not even. And I think I heard him say something about that one time, and he was just like, "My real estate investing isn't even
nowhere near it, bro. It's nowhere near it."
He's like, "That's not even. I get paid more off of the other shit that I do, off his brand." He's like, "I get paid more off my brand than I do just my real estate investing."
I mean, number one, Blake, don't ever think of yourself as an average dude. So Blake is saying, I like Michael Zuber's teachings. Given I have a career outside of real estate, 4 properties can change your life. And that is something Michael is adamant about. Sounds great for an average dude.
My man is a firefighter, I believe.
Yeah, you are a firefighter, right? But
don't ever call yourself an average dude, bro.
We can't fucking. This is why I don't. I was talking to Mike about it on my podcast. I was like, bro, it's our job to tell everybody they can fucking do anything. And you have to like put that in your head. But yes, getting to 4 properties, that'll change your life. But that journey to 4 properties and who you become as a human is really what's going to change your life. I personally believe
it's the mindset shift of money. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like, honestly, like it's limiting beliefs. It's for me, it's 31 years of hearing something and thinking that that's all that it is. And you're reprogramming your brain to more. And so just don't say average, man. Those are the things that keep you average.
Right. And you can't say that, bro. And the money will not change you, right? Because let's say we have 4 properties of cash flow of $300 each. What is that? That's $1,200. $1,200 ain't gonna change your life. You can go sell some couches on the side and make $1,200. Right?
Yeah.
But it's the journey of having to learn and develop all those skills that is going to change your life. I personally believe.
Yeah.
Dame, number 1, Dame, you need to read more books. You replied to my thing, said you read 0 books. You need to read more books, boss. But next.
No,
I posted on. How would you find a mentor if there are no people in your market you live in, and you have never went to an REI meetup? Right now,
where's your mentor at? Where's your mentor at?
My mentor is in South Beach, Florida.
Oh, he's not in the market you live in?
No, I don't think.
You find someone that you relate to, someone that when you listen to them speak, it drives you, it motivates you, it pushes you, and you find someone who does things the right way, morally, and someone who matches your type of lifestyle that you would love to have. Right? We talked about it before. Was it Rafael Vargas? Like, that's not somebody. He's a hell of a investor, a hell of a businessman, but that's not somebody that I'm gonna ask to be my mentor because he's walking around talking about bitches and hoes. Like, that's just I'm 31 years old. I'm married with 2 daughters and a son. That's not gonna be someone that I'm gonna be looking
right.
to mentor.
And your wife's gonna be like, "Well, where's your head at, bud?"
Hey,
this is who we just paid 50 grand to.
You see his last post? I'm trying to get my swagger right. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not someone that I can choose to mentor me. He's also not in my market, right? So I've talked about it before, and I said typically when people ask me about real estate investing, I'll lead you to some people that I learned from, that I follow on social media and stuff like that. To see if you guys are going to do some of the work. I tell you what YouTube videos to go watch or who to go watch on YouTube to learn certain strategies. And just based off watching those videos, you're going to start to find people. You go listen to Steve Trang's Real Estate Disruptors podcast, right? He brings on people every week. If you're actually listening to his podcast, you're going to find people in different niches, people who use different strategies, people who came probably with a similar story or journey as you, and you'll end up going to go follow them on Instagram. And only how I know if you're serious is because typically if I'm looking at pictures, it usually tells you your friends or whatever who's liked a certain post or stuff like that. And I start seeing people that I've suggested go listen to a certain podcast. Now I go see you on Drury Austin's page, right? And I'm like, oh shit, the only how you found him is if you were listening to Strat's podcast or you heard him somewhere else about creative financing.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, there's certain people that they're not huge on social media, but if you heard their story and you seen that they're actually a big time person, you only hear their stories by, following certain people, you know what I mean? So that's just kind of, to me, that's how you find people, find mentors and stuff like that.
And you got to pay them, bro. I truly think you have to pay people, because asking someone to help you and take time out of their day and time away from their family and time away from their business that is supporting their family and their goals, I think it's a hard pill to swallow for them just to do it for you just because, right? Unless you're going to go work for them for free or do something like that. So we talk about this all the time, just lead with value. Mm-hmm. And sometimes the value is cash, sometimes the value is time. But yeah, with no RI meetups, because I met Alan originally at a meetup.
Yeah.
And that's really what changed my life. Like, that's what set me off on this journey.
That's the first time I met you.
Right? At a meetup.
Wait, you might have reached out on Facebook when we found out that we were kind of going in the same direction, but the first time we met was at your meetup.
This is the meetup now, by the way.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, they might come back, but I mean, they should. There's nothing better than just, being in a room. Now we have lunches and stuff like that. So those are a whole lot tighter for the most part.
Right. A whole lot tighter niche.
Yeah. Entrepreneurship isn't easy. My boy, mice.
Mice.
They might cut my tongue, bro. Trying to say mice. Entrepreneurship isn't easy. Can be lonely. Have you had days where you wanted to quit? If yes, what kept you going?
I want to quit every fucking day. I want to quit every fucking day. Andy Frisella talks about this shit, bro, and his company's shooting for $500 million this year. And he was like, bro, I hate this shit every day. But he's like, I don't quit. Like, this is what I love to do, and it's hard. Yeah. And what keeps me going? I don't want to get a job. I don't want to let my family down. What else? I don't want to let myself down. Like, at this point, right? Like, I've come too far to come this far. I'm just in it so deep to where, like, I can't let myself down. I can't let my family down. I can't let my son down. I can't let my partner down. I can't let my partners down. Right? We have a bunch of different partnerships. I can't let all of my employees down. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of stuff like that to where, and again, Andy Frisella's number one thing is like, bro, you think when you're an entrepreneur, you have to answer to nobody. He's like, you're answering to fucking everybody now. You're answering to all your clients. You're answering to all your employees. You're answering to fucking everybody now. Yeah. So, but what keeps me going? I think my goals is really what keeps me going. And then, like, my why of just wanting more and, like, the legacy and the ego of it. A lot of it is what keeps me going, Mice. What about you, Mike? Sheesh,
man. like you said, I've come too far. I feel like I'm really close to really, getting over some type of hill. It's not right. It's not the hill that I want to get over in the long run, but I'm still achieving things. I'm still achieving, small steps of success. And so when I say I've come too far, like you said, I mean, it's getting another job. Like, bro, there's no way that I can go back to having I hate to say a regular job. I don't mean it like that, but I can't go back to being a teacher. There's no way that I will get a check like that and I feel fulfilled, if that makes any sense. And I know it's not always about money, but it's a certain type of lifestyle that I'm able to provide for my family that makes me feel amazing inside, and I told people, yes, you have your frugal people. And it's, again, what floats your boat, that's cool. But I love being able to go to Target and my kids see something, and I'm not thinking about what the hell the price is on the back of it, because I know at the end of the day that $30 isn't what's going to break me.
Right.
And so once you get over that hill of, and again, I'm not talking about just going and blowing money, but there's a certain level of peace that gives you when you're no longer worried about, can you afford this, this, and this? Or when is this coming up? Or when's that coming up? Okay, you're living almost in a scarcity mindset. I've lived 28 years of it. And that was the first thing I realized that changed when we went somewhere and that scenario came up. And I remember being home and I was like, wow. So there's no way I can go back to that. So that's what keeps me from quitting, because I can't go back to a lifestyle like that. And then also just my goals, man. I'm very ambitious. It took me a lot mentally to get over that hurdle of being able to tell everybody what I do, being able to put myself out there in uncomfortable situations, be able to talk to people like Michael Zuber, Jason Pritchard, and people like that, and tell them what my dreams are and all those things. And so to me, I have a fear of failing, and there's no way that I'm just going to just, tap out. I'm not going to tap out like that. First thing Jason told me is that, he was just, and it sticks to me every day. Every day I feel like quitting, the first thing I think about is people always talk about they want to get in real estate investing, and after a year they fucking quit because they find out how hard that shit is. So every time I think about quitting, I always think to myself, I'm not going to be the person he was talking about. So that's what keeps me going, because I refuse to prove him right.
Well, bro, I am terrified of failure. I am terrified of going back to where my son and I are eating bananas and rice for days on end just to work some. I am terrified of that. Yeah,
that shit scares the fuck out of me. You know what I mean? So I think you just have to find whys that are big enough to keep you going. And you know what? As we're kind of talking about, what kind of keeps you going and stuff like that, I kind of got a story of kind of just what happened today. Again, so I keep referencing Steve's podcast. I was listening to it. I think it's probably one of his last ones, probably from last week. And there was a guy on there, I can't remember his name right off the top of my head, but he was talking about how he had developed cancer, right, while he was going through a divorce. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, his pastor that he was, getting, advice from and just trying to keep him going, found out that, he was involved in some type of wife swapping type stuff. And so, just shit was just going downhill for him, right? And so he mentioned that he had all this stuff was going on, and then he had a dream that his brother had called him and told him that his mom had passed away. And he said the first thing that he thought about, and this is in his dream. He was like, and I remember when I woke up, the first thing I had thought about when this scenario had happened in my dream was doubt. Not doubt, was regret. He had a whole bunch of regret that he didn't spend enough time. He didn't do this. He didn't do that. He was too busy building his business out. He was just always working. And so he had vowed, and he said he called his mom the next morning, not even the next morning. He called her in the middle of the night, and mom thought something was wrong with him. And he was just like, he apologized to his mom for being a horrible son. And he said, from today, he's like, I don't want you to say anything. Just let me talk, but that changes today, And so he went to go spending all this time with his mom. And he's just like, if something was to happen to her tomorrow, knock on wood, he was like, I would have no regrets, And so 10 minutes later, I'm looking at my phone, my mom's calling me, right? Because we all know what it's like those first couple of years in real estate investing, man. You keep your head down and you just grind, right? So I have a lot of doubt, especially coming from football, right? You don't have a lot of family time in college for football. So not only did I already have doubt from then, now you turn into this career and now it's the same thing. So my mom calls me, or see my mom's name on there. So I'm like, hey, Mom, it's my stepdad on the phone. And in the background, all I hear is my mom just wailing in the back. And I'm like, what the hell happened? So there was an incident this morning where my mom woke up she had a little Yorkie. She woke up to let the Yorkie outside. It knocked over the fan. And when she turned around to pick up the fan, it smashed her Yorkie and killed it. And so I go over there this morning, and I mean, like I said, I've never heard my mom cry like that, man. And so it was she stays in Sanger, so I'm out in Clovis at this time. And so I'm driving to Sanger, and the whole time I have no idea how to process this, because here I am just listening to this dude's story about his mom and not spending enough time with his loved ones. And then next thing you know, I get this phone call from my mom. I get excited about it. And then that's the noise that I hear, you know what I'm saying? And so those things, because I know what I'm doing right now is going to ultimately give me the ability to spend that time with the people that I do love.
Exactly. That was a good one. That was a good one, though, bro. That was a great one.
It was real.
Well, it's about us building a life to where, like, I travel a lot, bro, and I can spend that time with my family. To where really, like, I'm in Fresno because I can feel like I can focus more. But if I truly wanted to, it's like, you know what, guys, we're gonna go somewhere else for 3 weeks, and that's all we're gonna do. And like, I could go do it, and I've created that lifestyle of it to where we do pick up and leave all the time, and we'll be here for a while. And that I don't want to give that up. I want to give my children amazing opportunities.
Yeah, because we know exposure is everything. You got to be able to expose your children to things that will just change their life. And one thing that I can say is I hadn't left California until we were playing football at Fresno State. Was the first time when I got on a flight to freaking Mississippi. That was the first time I had ever left California. Well, yeah, that was the first time I had ever left California. At 19 years old.
Damn.
Like, think about that. You know what I mean?
But that's like not uncommon. Think about all the kids who never even lived
uncommon.
LA.
As I got older, I was like, that's wild. I never left California until I was 19 years old. But when I got to Fresno State, I had no idea what Herndon and Willow was. We were at Best Buy, bro, and I remember I called someone to come pick me up, and they were like, "Well, where are you at?" I'm like, "I'm at Target," and they were like, "Well, where at?" I'm like, "Shit, I don't know." And they was like, "Aren't you from Fresno?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I ain't never been this far."
That's the thing, though, bro.
Because I'm a kid from Southeast Fresno, so when you talk about Herndon and Willow, like, bro, that was like a new city for me. Like, I'm like, I don't know where I'm at.
It really is, bro.
So it just tells you a lot about exposure.
Sorry, bro, it's getting hot. It's hot in my house for some reason. And then the last thing I think people don't really understand is that it stays hard the entire time, and you just have new problems. At least for me, like, I am coming across it's just different problems. Now it's not how do I do deals, it's how do I build culture, how do I create lasting things, right? Yeah. And you're always challenging yourself, because when you stop, that's when you might die, and figuratively.
He said, "That's right. I'm a firefighter. Mindset is important. Great for catching that." Yes,
of course,
yes,
bro.
Yes.
You ain't average. You ain't average. And then I'm sorry, Dame. All right, I'm glad you're reading books, man.
Yeah, I did see he was reading those. I think I posted about it.
There we go. And then Mike Zuber, the hub, Aaron Shelton 3M out. That'll make you think for a second or two, right? I mean, you guys, Pritchard, I know a couple people with some M's out the door.
It's not an option. And
then failure is not an option, Aaron. Step on the gas and keep the gas pedal and keep moving. No matter what. No matter what.
No matter what. Oh, Darian Dame off of the podcast I was listening to where he was talking about his mom.
Oh. Well, I mean, I call my parents every day. I call my parents every morning.
See, those are little habits that I think sometimes, like, for me, for sure, those aren't things that I do.
I get mad when my dad doesn't answer. I'll call him again, like, "Hey, fucker, what's going on here? Why are you answering my phone call?"
For a while, I blamed it on my mom. She didn't have an iPhone, bro. She had like my mom's not. I mean, my mom's just not a tech person. You know what I mean? So it's just like she's the person you call and it goes straight to voicemail. And I'm like, Mom, I called you yesterday. Like, she's like, oh, my phone was upstairs in my purse. It was dead. Mom. You know, it was because she had a goddamn flip phone. I'm like, if you had an iPhone, it probably wouldn't be in your purse dead. And I swear to you not, she has an iPhone now for work because she's an RN, right? And she works at our cancer facility, the Clovis Cancer facility here. And so now that thing's glued to her.
My grandmother did not have a cell phone, and she couldn't hear either. So like sometimes nobody could get a hold of her. Yeah. No one could get a hold of Grandma Pat. Like someone would have to drive up there to her house. Nobody lived with her. She lived on her own. She was deaf to where I'd be yelling at my grandma when I was like 5 to try and talk to her. And so in high school, everyone's driving up to go see if Pat's alive.
Hey, y'all go check on Pat.
Go check on Pat.
Go check on Pat.
What else is going on? And Think and Grow Rich is an amazing book. Again, I think it's the Bible. What else do we have going on, bro? I'm trying to think, or we might have to wrap this up. We were talking about this, bro. We thought we were going to get on here and talk.
Talk what?
About like what's going on in our business every week. And then I was like, well, I mean, it's kind of not applicable, right? And it's redundant.
Yeah, because it's the same shit week in and week out. It's just consistent action.
It really is. Like you're doing the same shit every day to where everyone's like, well, I want to make content. And really only the flippers make content.
Only, yeah.
Because you know
that shit's hard as fuck.
I'm in my office on my phone, or I'm outside walking on my phone. Like I'm just pretty much on the phone all day. Like it's not any like content to where I'm at like a project looking at it, blah, blah, blah. I am on my phone talking to people.
You're not going on that many appointments. Like, you know what I mean? Unless you're the acquisitions manager and other people just feeding you all these appointments.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's really what it is. and so one of the hardest questions that, not questions, but when people reach out to me sometimes like, hey, can I shadow you for today? And I'm like, fuck, where are we going? Bro, like I would love for you to be able to do that, but like it's probably more work for me to think of something for us to go do.
That's so true. I would never let someone shadow me, because like you're just gonna hear me bitching at people all day. Either I am bitching at people or I'm doing sales calls
or doing networking. Right?
I'm doing one of those three things.
I may just be calling someone, hey, what's up, buddy? Like, what's going on, man? How you doing? What you working on right now? Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's just kind of like, that's really what it is. Like, I reach out to other investors that I've worked or done deals with, and we talk about each other's families, or we talk about, what we're struggling with, or, you know what I mean? Just things like that. Sometimes it doesn't even have to do with real estate, but it's continuing a relationship with someone in real estate.
Yeah. And everyone really has that. I can't think of anyone who would make like an HGTV show. Even Aaron and Cletus. Aaron's like, yeah, Aaron, you guys can tell me Cletus works a full-time job, and yes. Aaron's at home, and she's like, really, all I do now is I do invoices on Sundays, and then I go drive and check on the project sometimes. Yeah. But you're not like out in it. Like, you know what? No, I'm gonna tear out this wall. I'm gonna tear out this wall. No. It's not like that.
Yeah, no. Like if they were to do an HGTV show, it would they would actually be working harder to do the show than they do.
Without a doubt, I think so.
You know what I mean?
I think so.
So, and we talk about time all the time. Right. Man, that was like awesome questions. Mice, Blake, Dane, Aaron, you guys are some of our loyal listeners.
You really are, though. We got 6 of them on here. Mm-hmm. One of them's my girlfriend. One of them's your wife. Mm-hmm. One of them's Blake.
Support, baby. Support.
Aaron, Cletus. I mean, we got the same people on here. Thank you guys so much for the support.
Yeah.
You ready to wrap this thing up, bro?
I'm ready to wrap it up, man. I gotta go caulk some baseboards, bro. Put a vanity in. I gotta do a little trim on it.
And then here we go. Aaron Shelton says Marissa fires me and doesn't allow me to do anything with the houses. Right? So she's not even out there like that.
Yo, man.
What's going on, Dino? Finally put the kids to sleep. Finally put the kids to sleep.
Yes, he did. See, I talked to Dean a couple times this week, but it hadn't been like on one of our conversations that we typically have. So kind of missed my guy a little bit.
I should probably call him. I'll call him. All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Do you have any housekeeping stuff you want to shout out?
No, man. That's it. Obviously, some things stay the same. If you're looking to comp those properties, evaluate properties, find some deals, pull some lists, go to Mainline Comps. Again, mainlinecomps.com. That's obviously my Propstream link. You'll get 7-day free trial. And then let me know how you like it, man. Let me know how you like it. If you got questions on it, I definitely understand that it could be a lot sometimes when you're first looking at it, right? So sometimes you may need a little bit of guidance. So go ahead and reach out to me. I have no problem showing you guys the ropes.
And if you guys are looking to do deals in the Central Valley, or really, me and Mike do some stuff nationwide. If you're looking to do deals and need help, reach out to us. Mm-hmm. Obviously, best place to reach out is Michael Butler Jr. and Strat Daddy. And then if you guys are looking for any type of virtual assistance at all, go to callmagicians.com, soon to be Magic Staff.
Hey, I locked up 2 deals last week with Call Magicians.
Hey, there we go. All right. Thank you guys so much.
See you guys next week, man.
Thank you for tuning in to the Free Agent Real Estate Investing Podcast. Don't forget to give us a 5-star review. If you would like to stay in touch with Stratton and myself, follow us on Instagram. And please be sure to subscribe to our Free Agent REI Podcast YouTube channel and give us a thumbs up.